Okay.
Why?
Well, hopefully we don't, get feedback. That's why you normally see people with them on, so you don't have feedback. But we're gonna grow with it because we're actually live right now. So, hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Dr. Will Show. I am your host, Dr. Will, and I am fresh from a Google Leadership Symposium. I am here once again with LaVonna Roth, folks. LaVonna, how are you doing?
I am fantastic, Dr. Will. Hello, everybody. Great to be on here again.
Awesome, awesome. So today, folks, we will be talking about Shine, which is a recent movement created, founded, driven by LaVonna, and we're going to educate you people on how to get your shine. So for those who are watching the show, LaVonna, and I don't know why they don't know who you are, but just in case they don't, will you please introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Hi, everybody. I'm LaVonna Roth, and I was a teacher for 10 years at the elementary as well as secondary level. And I've had the opportunity to move in different directions. And so one of them is to own my own company. And I just travel all around internationally working with teachers and administrators on engagement, using neuroscience and how the brain learns. But as Dr. Will just said, I just started a new movement called Ignite Your Shine. And I'm so excited to share this with you.
Awesome. I'm excited. I told my wife I was gonna sing a little tune about it, but I'm gonna let that go. I might do that later. I'm gonna see.
No, no, do it, do it.
I'll see if I feel it. I was like, just let your shine glow. Now, for those, if you've ever watched that was from Coming to America, like Soul Glow. But I just had to roll with it. So I was just like driving them. I was like, shine glow. She's like, you silly. So. That's just how I roll. So today, okay, let's get into this. So, what is your shine, and what is shine, and where did the impetus come from for you to start such a movement?
So it comes from personal as well as observing students and other people, including colleagues. So I find that a lot of times what we value in schools is when kids do well in reading, writing, math, and science. And from my own personal experience with not doing so well in school, especially by the time I got to middle school and really by the time I got to high school, we weren't teaching the way that I best learned, and many of my peers as well. And as I watched my students throughout the years of teaching, many of them didn't fit into that box of reading, writing, math, and science. But it didn't mean that they weren't smart. It didn't mean that they didn't shine. So as I progressed through this, I kept watching and I kept feeling this urgency of something, but I could not feel exactly what that was. And now I feel that it's a complete calling to really help identify what kids are phenomenal at. So Shine is all about finding and valuing what gifts a person brings. And so it can look in a variety of different ways, but let me share with you what Shine means. So for example, the S is about yourself, right? And so self is in, wait a minute, what do you mean by yourself? Well, it means like your strengths, your talents, your gifts. What is it that kids are bringing to the table as well as your colleagues? So this isn't just about students, but that's where I'm primarily focusing right now. So once you identify your strengths in yourself, how do you use that to serve yourself, not in a selfish, greedy way, but in a way where you're taking care of yourself so that you can serve others? So the S has like self and strength and serving, and it's a pretty loaded one. When we get to the H, it's what is your heart? In other words, what is your passion? Right. So if we get kids to identify what their strength is, because what they're not great at does not define them. And I'm not saying we don't build on those weaknesses, but their strength, why not take what they're strong at, marry that with their heart and their passion? We've created a really compact package here. Now we move that to the I, which the I is inspire. So everybody hits roadblocks and obstacles, barriers, pitfalls, you name it, we all sink down. But the question is, whether do we have the grit, which we hear about, perseverance, the mindset, to be able to get out of that? So it's all about how do you inspire yourself as well as you inspire others every single day. So now that we have the self with the strengths, we have the heart and the passion, we know how to get through those barriers and constantly have an accountability partner as such to inspire. We get to the N, and the N is navigate, which I think a lot of people are missing, which is, okay, so what is your plan? What are you going to do with all that? You've been given all these amazing gifts and talents and strengths. So how do you foster that and then flourish with it? I guess I find it sad that a lot of kids have trouble in school. And we have, one of the statistics I saw said 7,000 high school dropouts a day. So I feel we're doing a disservice to kids by not finding their strength. So when we get to the end is navigate. What is your plan? What is your action? How are you going to get through school? What is your plan after school? And continuing on where they learn to have those kinds of goals and create that, what was their journey going to be, their story going to be, and it's going to change. When we get to the E, though, the E is a pretty simple one. It's E for exceptional. And in the end, you will be the exceptional you that you are meant to be. So that's really, it's all about just, stepping outside. It's the whole child. It's stepping outside the box of just certain content areas. And, how does a kid have humor? Or do they have empathy for others? Are they a talker, which can drive people crazy? But great, maybe they'll be an attorney, motivational speaker, whatever. It's finding those avenues and using that to show how they can really grow.
Good night, folks.
Loaded one. Loaded.
Good night, folks.
Thank you.
She just brought it. She brought it. Thank y'all for coming. That was, all right. I'm liking this. So,
All right.
So when you talk to when we talk about individuals, right, using their strengths to ignite the world, how do people go about discovering their gifts? And is someone's gift the same as their talent or their strengths? Are they different, or are they one of the same?
That's a fantastic question, and I bet that would actually be a great debate question on the strengths and the talents and the gifts. To me, they're very similar. I don't know that I would necessarily break them out. It's just another word, because a lot of times for example, when I talk about, we honor people's gifts. If you're like, well, what do you mean by gifts? So to me, it's like with the talent. What were you given that's your talent, but you can also develop, through practice or through having the right mentor. Where a strength may be something you are kind of more naturally given, so that I see a little bit of a difference, but I really that's not something I truly want to pick apart. I just want to, how do we find that in people? So when you ask that, I think it's observation and learning to observe others and how do they shine, and saying, you know what, you are phenomenal at this, even that colleague that drives you crazy, right? What are they great at though? And really look at that and the positivity behind that. And so observing those in others and then observing it about yourself. And saying, what am I good at? A lot of times we're so hard on ourselves. One of the worst critics we have, right? Well, I'm not great at this and I'm terrible at that. And if only I could. Why do we do that? There's a reason that we are the way we are. And instead of beating ourselves up over those things we're not great at, just instead say, how do I shine? What am I great at? And then what can I do with that? Because whatever you're great at, somebody's not so great at that. And now you have a chance to share with each other and really help each other grow. Going back to that box, of how we identify people, our students in our system, we say, okay, you're fantastic, you're super smart at math and you're super smart at science. We actually label them as gifted and talented. But I believe everybody's gifted and talented. And it's not just the math and the science. So if we had all mathematicians and all scientists, where would we be when it comes to our buildings? Where would it be? Okay, I'm going down a whole other path. See what happens when you get me on a soapbox about this. But yeah, no, I think it's observation and really taking an okay look at it. And it's not about bragging. It's not about, well, look at me. It's about, you know what, this is what I rock at. I'm strong in this. And how can I help you with my strength? And there's something that you are rock star at, and probably many things. So how do we use that to help me and others? So it's not necessarily give and take, but it's all about serving others.
Awesome. Awesome. Y'all, she's starting to preach here. We're going to pass the collection plate around in 15 minutes. She's working it today.
Yeah, you're talking about the passion here. A lot comes out.
That's all right. That's all right. So I'm an individual. So once I know my passions, my gifts, what is the process for then taking those gifts to ignite the world, to making that impact?
Mm-hmm. So I think it goes back to really thinking about your why, and why am I talented or gifted at this? Why is this my gift? Why do I shine in this way? And then how do I use that, going back to that serving others and serving self? So an interesting point that I would like to make is back in June, I did a graduation commencement speech, and it was to an alternative high school where these students had basically been expelled from their home schools. 3 years ago, there were no high school graduates. It was with diplomas. It was GEDs only. They went to two high school graduates with diplomas. They went to 18, and this year when I did the commencement speech, there were 55. And what's interesting is that these kids had learned to shine. Like, they were completely amazing. Like, many of them actually a lot of them were actually homeless, either because parents had trouble with them, or literally were homeless because parents couldn't afford to live in a home. 7 of them of the 55 were teen moms. And one of the things I said to them is that, go out and find your shine. What are you great at? What have you learned along the way? And so when I said, I'm going to be one of those few people, if only the other person that says to you, go out and serve yourself. And again, it's not in that selfish, greedy way, but it's what am I fantastic at? And how do I use that to serve others? Because if you serve yourself first, you take care of yourself, you're healthy, you're ready to go. Now you're ready to serve others. And I totally lost what question you asked.
Well, I mean, how do, if I know that networking and networking and sort of rallying people together is one of my gifts. Once I know that, how can I then take that information to put that into action to go do something special?
Right. So I feel that it's exploring different avenues. I'm one that I, for example, don't read just education stuff, even though that's where my heart and my passion is. Reading leadership, reading magazines that come about a totally different industry or business than, and so really exploring, because once you know that, now you know more of your opportunities. So I think it's important to share with students, we tend to think this way, very narrow, but let's expose kids to so many things and then say, okay, take what that shine is. So if it's networking, for example, what are the different avenues that you could go with that? And a lot of people, for example, are scared to network. Holy cow, if that's your gift at networking, do you know what all you could do with that and how you could help people who are terrified to go out and network because maybe they're introverts or they're scared of, confidence isn't there to be able to communicate effectively with someone, or they worry so much about their image that they're not allowing themselves to really shine in the way they should shine. So I really think it's exposing, like I said, to different ways that they can say, hey, this is how I can use my strength. And then if you're out, that goes that heart and that passion side. Well, you know what, that I don't really care about, and that I'm not really, now that lights my fire. So let me do networking with that. I think it's just exploring, and it's exposure.
Cool. So we're both educators. So what does being SHINEtastic look like in the classroom? And how can educators then leverage their shine to pursue other endeavors like presenting at conferences or blogging or even, writing that book?
So I think it's them identifying what it is that they do shine at, and but pushing those boundaries. You have a circle of comfort. We all do. And putting that one foot out. So if you're terrified to present, why not try it? Put one foot out and go try it. Because you never know, that a lot of times that comfort circle then expands to a bigger comfort circle. And if you keep pushing yourself, that allows you to do that. I also think that you show students how SHINEtastic you are, which is one of my words. You're SHINEtastic because you took a risk and decided to do that. And we model that for students in the classroom. They're more likely to be able to do that as well. So I think it's important for teachers to be observing their students and saying, you know what, I have this kid who, oh my goodness, anything that I say, he can put to a song. Or another song. When I walk by, you should see the illustrations she's doing, because she really captures and phenomenal at that. That's, again, that observation and really looking to what does a SHINEtastic look like? And I'm in the process of creating an entire model for schools that it's where, how do you find those and how do you foster that? And so observing is a part of it, but then how do you take it from there and how do you build that confidence with kids and moving away from, we see so much negativity. And a lot of the social media, a lot of TV, goes a lot of negativity toward our kids. And how do you learn to block some of those things out so that you build yourself up and who you're meant to be instead of listening to that and tearing yourself down? So that's a SHINEtastic classroom to me, is one that is observing that and really helping our students to achieve that.
Okay. So before we get out of here, I always like to ask folks for advice.
I don't have any, but thank you. Have a good night.
So those who are watching this, maybe they've seen you on Twitter, and they're like, I'm digging this. I'm feeling that the shine is inspiring, it's empowering, but they are so caught up in not feeling good enough. Or in this connected world we live in, you're on Twitter, and folks see you, or they see Eric Schiniger, or they see Alice Kaler, or any number of people on there, and they go, man, they're so great, and I'm not. They're just so comparing themselves to others. What is your advice for them? And and owning and embracing their shine, and to not compare themselves to the other people that they see.
First of all, stop comparing. It's so easy to say, but I tell my daughter, I'm 43 years old. I have no problem saying my age. But it wasn't until I was about 38 years old that I actually started gaining confidence. I let a lot of things get in my way, and again, what I wasn't good at. And finally, about the age of 38, I went, why? Why am I doing this? Which is all kind of led to the whole shine thing. And what you said, we listen to so many negativity, and we compare ourselves to others as to, well, if only I could be that great, or I wish I could. Why? Because there's a reason that you are the exceptional you. There's a reason that you are here. So for me, it's a lot of building that confidence and stop comparing. And one of the things that I heard along the way, and I've adopted this entirely as a philosophy, is don't compete with others, compliment. So that, for example, there are other consultants that we do the exact same topic, but we actually refer each other and believe in each other and have no problem doing that, because we don't believe in competing. We believe in complimenting. And even if you saw both of us presenting or three of us presenting, it doesn't matter. It's still going to be different. And my job isn't to compete with others. My job is to compete with myself. And how do I continue to make myself better? And one of the ways I believe in doing that is surrounding myself with those that are going to support me, those that help me shine, and more importantly, I help them shine. And if we surround ourselves with that negativity, eventually we start to listen. If you were to tell me every day, LaVonna, you're fat, over time I'm going to believe I'm fat. Right? Well, no, I'm just kidding. So, it's what you surround yourself and listen to is what you start to believe. And that's exactly what the brain does. It starts to get that ingrained, and it starts to go, wait a minute, am I? And you start doubting yourself. I recently heard a quote that I love. So if you're going to ask for advice, this would be it. It was along the lines of, and I'm going to kind of botch it up a little bit. It was along the lines of, light your life on fire and surround yourself with those that fan your flames. That says it all. Don't surround yourself with the negativity, because if you do, you're going to listen to it and believe it. There you go.
All right, folks. all right, folks. Don't forget to send your checks in when you watch the show. No, I'm just playing.
Hey, Dr. Will, do you mind if I share the Shine bracelet?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So Ignite Your Shine, I have one on. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Ignite Your Shine bracelet. So what it resembles is it's a light bulb. And then there's 5 wraparounds, so SHINE, one for each letter. And it's been, oh my goodness, people are loving it, because it becomes a symbol of reminding yourself on those days, how is it that you shine? And it's a symbol to others on how they shine. And it's just a phenomenal reminder. And I know we only have a few days left, but actually 100% of the proceeds that go to it for this month, because I lost my best friend since childhood back at the end of July to breast cancer. And when I launched October 1st, Ignite Your Shine, I didn't even realize it was at the moment that actually is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So I just want to share that anyone who is interested, 100% of the proceeds does go to a woman battling breast cancer currently. And it's at igniteyourshine.com if they're interested.
Okay. I was about to ask you, where can they get it?
I remembered.
Awesome. All right, folks. I hope you have enjoyed the show and you look at it and it's a spark you need to go ahead and discover your shine. As always, LaVonna, it has been awesome having you on the show.
Well, I love being here anytime, and you're awesome too. And so is everybody else. You're SHINEtastic. I love it.
Awesome. Well, folks, I'm going to see you again in a couple of weeks. I will be interviewing Shinjini. We're talking about go-getting and going out and get yours. So, yeah, we'll get there, because I was going to say something. I'm going to get myself in trouble. So, people, go ahead and have yourself a great time. And as always, be you, EDU. Peace.